Salutations everybody, it is Maddie here today. It's the start of a brand new month. You know what that means. Top 5 RPGs coming out this month. It's October 2021. There's some pretty under the radar titles this time around. Last month, it was easy. We had Tales of Arise, New World. It's like, okay, this list sort of found itself. This time around, your boy had to do some digging. I've picked some titles out that I think a lot of you are going to be very excited about. So if you're here looking for some hidden gems, you're in the right spot. Thank you so much for making time for this series. And of course, as always, the love and support that you show this. Because while it's one of our more lower viewed series on the channel, I appreciate that a lot of you check it out and show it a ton of love. So thank you so much. And let's get into the top 5 RPGs dropping in October of 2021. It begins with a recently announced one called Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars. This arrives on October 28th to Switch, PS4, and Steam. Now, if you're a fan of Nier, Drakengard, this game is for you. I remember watching this during the Direct when it was revealed. I heard the music and went, this sounds like Nier. That's because the composer for Nier is behind this. The scenario writer from Nier is behind this. The character designer from Nier is behind this. And then, of course, you have Yoko Taro, who was the crazy mind behind both Drakengard and Nier, spearheading this project. So that alone, for me personally, I am sold. I will be there day one because he makes some of the more heartfelt, wild tales that I've experienced in probably the last decade. But beyond that, what is this weird looking game? Well, it plays a lot like a tabletop RPG, and I think that's what makes it really special and stands out. Everything you see is told through cards. Your destiny is to defeat a dragon that threatens the lands, and actually, if you're curious about this game, you can check out a demo right now. And I like that Square Enix has Yoko Taro doing other random things because his ideas are so out there, and I think that's his strength, is his experimentation. I don't know if they'll ever find another major success like a Nier Automata. That might have just been a lightning in the bottle moment that they see here, but I like that he's doing all these different things here. And this game in general as a turn-based RPG kind of remind me a little bit of Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, the way the combat was laid out. So I'm all about games told through cards, especially when it's in this manner, very tabletop-like. I thought it was pretty creative, so keep an eye on this one. Next on the list is Disco Elysium Final Cut on Switch and Xbox. This arrives October 12th. I know this one might be cheating a little bit. This game's been around for a while, but for your boy, selfishly, this is brand new. Why have I procrastinated Disco Elysium? You may be asking yourself. And here's the answer. It's because I demanded a Switch version. I saw the amount of text you had to read, the amount of replay options, and I said, this is a Switch game, and I will play it nowhere else. I'm not going to hunch over my PC for hours and hours and hours. I'm not going to sit there with a controller tabbing through text, just like how I feel with Danganronpa, Zero Escape. This game screamed handheld to me. Finally, it is coming to a console that is capable of having handheld. We also have the Steam Deck coming soon, which I'm sure you'll be able to play this game on. But anyway, the Final Cut, which has stuff like the Political Visions quest, where you can have your political compass guide you to new endings, new quality of life enhancements, a redesigned UI for consoles. All that is packaged into this brand new version of the game. But for people like myself who were very late, this is your chance. I'm done snoozing on this game. It's time to find out if it's really as good as everyone has told me it is. You play as a washed-up detective, and this detective is solving a murder. Now, there's a bunch of dialogue. This game is all about the dialogue, with 24 different skills, 80 different pieces of clothing item you can wear, 14 tools to use, so on and so forth, to navigate this big open world. And you can approach it how you want, whether it be tackling the main case or a bunch of side cases. It seems like such a fascinating game. It obviously seems like such a Maddie game. Long overdue for me to play this one, but I insisted on that Switch version. We're finally going to get it. Hopefully it doesn't have a Sonic Colors Ultimate moment and that it's actually good. I trust it will be good because they've not just ported it, they said, but redesigned the game entirely for these consoles. So that gives me a lot of faith. But anyway, that's coming out very soon. So be sure to hop in on Disco Elysium if you have missed out. Next, we got to get back into our more obscure niche bag. So we have Caligula Effect 2. This comes out October 19th on PlayStation and Switch. It's by the Persona scenario writer Tadashi Satami, and I gotta say, I played the first Caligula Effect game. It is probably the most niche game I've ever experienced, and I'm someone who's played visual novels, I played Nier before it was popular, and this takes the cake. It's pretty out there, but if you're super weeby, like your boy, you might find yourself liking something here, because when I played it, I really wasn't that impressed. It's about a 30-hour JRPG, which is rare, by the way. JRPGs tend to always overstay their welcome. But this game, when I finished it, there's a lot of Persona vibes in it. I thought to myself, I hope they do a sequel and fine-tune some things, because the game was buggy. There were a lot of issues, even in the re-release called Caligula Effect Overdose. So with the sequel here, I feel a lot more confident that they know what they want to do. So you're a part of what's called the Go Home Club. You're trapped in a false reality, and a group of students have now awoken, and they want to fight to escape what is this futuristic fake high school. And I think the setting and the character designs alone are really what is a big sell for people like myself who love Persona. We see so many games try to be Persona, but they never really follow the Persona format. So this game would have, say, social links like Persona, but the way they handle them is vastly different, because you just sort of pick who you want to hang out with. You don't work towards that. Also, the dungeons in Caligula Effect Overdose were a little bit weaker, so I'm hoping that they, strengthen up some of those weaknesses here in the next entry. So I'll be here day one for this game as well, because I'm very, very curious to see how exactly they handle it. Keep an eye on reviews for those of you who are hesitant. If you've played it before, you probably already know about the sequel, and you've likely already made up your mind. Next on the list, this one, if you're an Xbox fan, you may have heard of. It's called Moonglow Bay. This is a peaceful little fishing RPG, and it's dropping on October 7th on Xbox PC and Xbox Game Pass. So this is one that I would say is the must try. It's right there. It's available to download. It's dropping at a point where things aren't super busy. And I think for such a cute, wholesome little game, this should be the one we're giving a chance, right? It's dropping in the fall. It's going to be so busy soon. It can get washed over quickly. I can't imagine it's going to sell crazy well. Let's try to celebrate something that's pretty new. So in this fishing RPG, you're going to level up, your fishing skill, but you're also going to level up your cooking skills. What I love about this, though, is it's co-op. And I know that there are a lot of great co-op games out there that really ramp up the intensity or the mini games, what have you. But this game just looks calm, peaceful, and easy. And don't let those Minecraft-like graphics fool you like they originally fooled me. What I see here is something that looks really enjoyable. In an industry where we're constantly playing violent, dark games, and trust me, I love those. It's nice to see a little palate cleanser title like this come to Game Pass, and it's coming from a team of like 2 people. So I really like this one. I'm hoping I can really squeeze in the time for it with everything else I'm saying on this list that I want to play this, I want to play that. But I think Moonglow Bay, if I can really just stand, if you will, for any game here, I would say Moonglow Bay is the one that please give it a shot, just because it's coming from a small team. They're doing something really different. It doesn't seem like that much of a time sink where it's impossible for us to at least pick up and try it. So I'll at least be dabbling in this one to support the devs. Keep an eye out on Moonglow Bay. Let's move on to our 5th and final RPG dropping in October of 2021. That game is Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, your boy did a full preview of this on my channel. I went hands on it for about an hour and a half. So if you want to have a full breakdown top to bottom of what that game is going to be about, go ahead and check that out. But for those who are looking for the too long didn't read version, I've got you right here. So this comes from Eidos Montreal. What's interesting about this is that they were the developers of the Deus Ex franchise, which just sort of went dark. Now they're working on a Marvel game, and when I played Guardians of the Galaxy, I found myself sort of in the middle. There are things about the game that I look at and go, okay, this could possibly age well, but it depends on how long the game is, how deep the mechanics are. What I mean by that are little things like puzzles, character interactions, because there's this thing called Guardian actions, which you can perform in non-combat scenarios like, say, puzzles or telling Rocket Raccoon to go inside a little tunnel, to combat scenarios where you could tell Drax to hit the dude with the shield. Where it really shines is its combat, where it's a lot more fast-paced than I think most people had expected when they went hands-on with it. But it's also I call it the most co-op single-player game, because you're really interacting with your team a lot. There is a chemistry there. It does feel very good on that front, and it's just a matter of there are some enemies that are spongy, and I wonder if that can start to disrupt the experience as time goes on. Also, there are choices you can make. You're probably wondering, well, how is all this an RPG? That's it. Like, there is scaling that you can do with ability points, and you can craft perks. But I call that RPG light, right? That's like a Ubisoft era move where you go, well, we have a skill tree. See, we're an RPG. It's like, no, you're not. how does this game become an RPG? It seems like they're going to dabble with choice and consequence, which would make sense from the developers of Deus Ex. It's just the IP they picked is not the craziest fit in my eyes. You know, we're talking Guardians of the Galaxy. So the way they're doing this is by making you make story choices, and kind of like in Telltale, they're going to pop a little text prompt on the corner of the screen going, hey, this person felt this way about your choice. And again, it's one of those moments I had when experiencing my preview where I thought, okay, this could be really cool in the long run if I'm able to do what I'm hoping I could do, which you won't be able to know until you play the full game, which is like, I want to tear apart the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, if I'm going to review this game or play this game, I'm going to see how much chaos I can reap across the entirety of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, can I split us up? Can I get people mad at each other? How far can you go? Those are questions I was left asking myself afterwards, but at its baseline, it's a action RPG in a Marvel game. And I know that speaks to a lot of people. It's probably the biggest launch out of everything we're talking about here, but it's definitely the least RPG, if you will, of the entire bunch here. But yeah, a pretty healthy list here. And honestly, out of any list we've had since we started this series, I got to say that this one speaks to me personally the most because we got a lot of fun under the radar titles. Moonglow Bay, we got the Isle Dragon Roars. That one, like, I am there for that one big time. And of course we have Caligula Effect for like me and probably 2 other people in the comments down below talking about that game. So that'll be pretty fun to see if anyone even has heard of that game. But I digress. A lot of cool stuff coming this month as we start to head towards the end of the year. Again, I just thank you all so much for supporting this little series here. I'm hoping over time it does pick up steam, but we'll continue to do it regardless. It's one video in a whole month of daily uploads pretty much, so it's perfectly fine if something sort of underperforms compared to everything else. I just like to talk RPGs, as a lot of you know. So with that, what game on this list out of all 5 RPGs speaks to you the most? Which one are you going to play, if any of them? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all of the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.